Who's the good guys? Who's the evil corporate assholes that you need to despise? The game tells you.
Yeah, exactly. You get to do all the fun stuff and feel like a hero at the same time as just like shoving it to the man. Right?
Yeah. I'm saving beavers. What about you?
Right. That's right. Sorry, just the hard emphasis on beavers there kind of just threw me off my talk there.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of everyone's favorite podcast, the Critical Arcade Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Hello, Nick. You well?
Yes, Dave, what's your favorite simulation game?
See, now most people would go with, RollerCoaster Tycoon or Sims, I suppose, is a big one on there.
That's where the name Sims comes from.
And I am old enough to have played the original Theme Hospital and the original Theme Park, but my favourite one, and I think it's also one that you enjoyed, is the movies. That a PC game about managing a movie company and making your own little movies and managing your people and directors and stuff like that, right?
You've just caught me completely off guard with the only correct answer.
It is like it is a really under the radar kind of hit. That game slaps, as the young people say.
Oh yeah.
And yours?
Oh man,
Before
movies?
I mentioned the
movies. Are you
movies.
kidding me?
Before
I used to play the movies to death.
Yeah, that's a great game. It's on the list somewhere. All hell the list. What were you going to say if I hadn't mentioned the movies?
I don't know. If you hadn't mentioned the movies, I wouldn't have said the movies. Now I'm saying the movies.
Yeah, because it's a great game. Yeah, but management sims are kind of a niche genre to some degree, right? Because there's a lot of people who like it and a lot of people don't. But it did click with me. I was kind of brought up in the era where it all came out and it was all fresh and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Theme Hospital and Theme Park.
And you had a PC
games
for that too.
Yes. And they were big games. They were really popular when they came out.
Yeah.
So,
because, this is a single game and you can just kind of play for hours and hours.
Yes, and that was kind of one of the new things.
Oh, absolutely.
Is Age of Empires a simulation game or was that more real-time strategy? Because I know...
I'd call that a real-time strategy. That's an RTS with Command and Conquer.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So the movies...
Warhammer 40k.
And I always did you ever play a game called, I think it was called Evil Genius or something like that? Where you ran a...
You are just hitting...
It was also a great game.
I
used to love those
games.
things.
I played Evil Genius a ton.
Yes, that game was also hard. Holy crap, that game. The last few levels of that game was super hard.
I never finished Evil Genius.
No, it's hard. I'm not surprised. The last levels are kind of just overly complicated.
Oh yeah. My last simulation or management game, I don't think you're gonna guess, is one that I think was one of the main inspirations for this week's game. I really, 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 really liked Zoo Tycoon 2.
How many Zoo Tycoons are there?
Two.
Is there 5? Oh, there's only 2. So you again very popular in the management sim space, right? Anything tycoon.
Yes.
Yes.
Zoo Tycoon 2. I think it had 4 expansion packs too.
No, they were the Sims. They're the expansion packs, the DLCs, the extra things. They were big. I still remember that one guy. There was a record. He made a Guinness World Record longest roller coaster of all time, and it went on for 6 hours or something.
Yeesh.
Just in RollerCoaster Tycoon.
Really, was it Mr. Bones' Wild Ride?
I'm afraid I didn't verbatim remember exactly, but I just
to anyone that gets that reference. Hell yeah.
I have not played RollerCoaster Tycoon. I remember it being out and I remember it being on the shop.
You've not played RollerCoaster
shelves.
Tycoon?
I have not played RollerCoaster Tycoon.
Which
I am
one?
a theme park and theme park world man.
Wait, you've not played any RollerCoaster Tycoon?
Nope. Not
that
one.
Cannot be.
I am that die hard. Bullfrog. Now that's an old one for people if they remember. Bullfrog is my management sim type.
Well, list if you can hear us, which you can. We know you can.
Of course, we all can. Yeah, we all know he's listening right now.
List, please give us RollerCoaster Tycoon. Anyone, Maybe preferably RollerCoaster Tycoon 2.
2, yeah, that's my point. It sounds like it's the better one.
But anyway,
you were wondering why we were talking about these management sims, right?
Yeah. Tell us, how about what did we play for this week?
This week we played the spiritual successor to Zoo Tycoon or whatever it's called. This Planet Zoo. I always get them. I get so mixed up with the names. Planet Zoo. We got our hands on Planet Zoo this week. Produced in 2019 by Frontier Developments, which, if there's a game you want to make a management sim, it would be them, because they were responsible for RollerCoaster Tycoon and Thrillville and Jurassic World Evolutions, which I completely forgot about, which I've never played, and it's actually supposed to be quite good.
I've heard good things though.
And they also did the Elite Dangerous space-faring MMO thing, which I also did not know that they had their hands in. So this is one hell of a pedigree in regards to simulation games.
This is some heavy prestige for a studio.
And they've been around since 1995, like working in the backgrounds, just making sim management games, which I thought was crazy.
That's incredible.
Over 30 years worth of just
nice
one about
experience. Just hell yeah. No, that's great.
And again, it was a big industry back in the day. It's still. Here's the thing. Do you think it still does? Does it still hit that niche today to make enough money? Because I know Jurassic World Evolutions did well, and I think there's a 2. But is it going to make enough to
what?
First person shooters and all
I
stuff
think that just to make a management sim isn't going to make you the money you need. I think you need kind of a hook.
Yeah, agreed, of course.
I think you need something else to make your management sim stand out from the rest, to make just enough money.
Yeah.
And
so it's
In this case, I think Planet Zoo did find its niche in not only making a methodical, let's say, game that focuses on animal welfare and conservation and zoo management, but it's tapping into an established niche that's growing by the day, and that is the cozy niche.
Yeah, that's very true. Cozy games are kind of kicking it off at the moment, aren't they?
Right? I'd say this fits very well into that just relaxing management game, which is kind of a tightrope that this game balances.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. No, I know exactly what you mean. Like, in regards to this game, there's a lot of course, you build your own park, which is what a lot of people do in the Sims games themselves, right? It's all about the building. It's all about relaxing and just building what you want. And yeah, this does have I guess all the Frontier development games has that same thing. Like, who doesn't want to build a Jurassic World park? Like, even if you don't play the game, who doesn't want to just have dinosaurs?
That's what I'm saying. What management game out there lets you build a theme park or a zoo with dinosaurs?
Yeah, exactly. It's a no-brainer that they got
that's
that
the
IP
hook.
fundamentally.
That's why
right?
Jurassic Park Evolution did so well, and I think Planet Zoo does so well because this just expertly walks on that, balances on that tightrope for methodical, relaxing management, but with surprisingly deep management systems.
Oh yeah.
How does it do that? I don't know, but it does.
Yeah. On that note, okay, let's break it down. Narrative. It's not.
There's very little.
I'll give it. I was surprised it had a career mode. Like, it actually had a mode which would be like a campaign. Because the old school games, like Theme Park World and Theme Hospital, which I'm comparing it to, because they didn't have much of a theme. This actually does have a kind of a narrative to it. You kind of help. What's the manager called? Nancy Jones.
Bernie.
Oh, that's right, the guy. Sorry, I completely forgot about the first guy. He seems to be a millionaire. Just a millionaire guy that seems to own zoos, which he was very chill.
Yeah, he just looks like the uncle down the road, but no.
That's what I mean. He looks like
he's
grandpa.
A multi-billionaire.
He literally owns all of them. And I do like, it's got kind of a fun, you're learning, you're being taught by a bunch of people, Nancy and her daughter Emma, and then there's kind of like evil corpo guy who's kind of trying to muscle his way in and destroy all the cool zoos, and you have to go save them, which I think that's fun. I think that's a fun little narrative.
That is fun. Right? That's exactly the black and white you need for a game that is just supposed to be cozy. You don't need to think who's the good guys, who's the evil corporate assholes that you need to despise. The game tells you.
Yeah, exactly. You get to do all the fun stuff and feel like a hero at the same time as just like submit to the man.
Yeah, right? I'm saving beavers. What about you?
Right, that's right. Like, sorry, just the hard emphasis on beavers there kind of just threw me off my talk there. So yeah, narratively, you're not gonna really have too much fleshing out. I did like that you got to do something though. It did slowly in the game itself. You slowly get to work on different zoos that you gotta help out with. Later on, you got a zoo that's kind of like part casino, and then a zoo. Like I thought that was kind of they got fun little narratives in there that kind of make you go.
They do. This was. So you're comparing this to what Theme Hospital and Theme Park World. I'm comparing this to Zoo Tycoon 2. That's the closest thing I can compare this to. I've not played Zoo Tycoon 2 in years. I wouldn't be surprised if it's more than a decade.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure.
Zoo Tycoon 2 also had a campaign mode, if you can believe that.
Was it the same type of thing? No, actually, what was the...
Almost.
What was
it was almost the same thing. So I wasn't too surprised to find out that the career mode in this is much like it was in Zoo Tycoon 2.
Yeah.
You were given a zoo and you were given objectives, and most of the objectives were just fix this zoo.
Yeah, fix
get
the zoo.
3 stars, get an income, save the giraffe.
Yeah, makes sense. Little stick, carrot on a stick type achievement in regards to playing it, right?
Yeah. So they were giving you half a zoo and tell you, turn this into a full zoo. And it's almost much like the career mode for Planet Zoo. Although I do think that they get crazy with some of the zoos. Yeah, like you said, the casino ones, the ones that's got the rides.
Yes. Which I think that cleanses the palate a bit. I do kind of like that because did you ever play? Granted, showing my age a bit now. Did you ever play SimCity, like SimCity 2000 and stuff like that?
I played SimCity 4.
Because a lot of the older games, it was just a sandbox, and that's the one thing that just kept me going. Well, I'm not doing any, like, what am I achieving to some degree? I'm just building and then get complaints about pipes and like the airport and stuff like that. I need a carrot on a stick, and this one just gives you just enough to kind of pull you through. You kind of like the people who are teaching you. They seem to be really nice people. They're very and not only that, narratively, you actually learn a ton. Like, like in regards to the zoos you go to, they have certain animals that are extinct and stuff like that in regards to the orangutans and the silverbacks and the wildebeest and stuff like that. The pandas, the whole panda thing. That was kind of cool. It's like being in a David Attenborough type of like production, but you're playing the game, right?
Perfect.
That was kind of cool. There's a ton I learned from this.
It is. I do think in the ways of story there isn't much. I appreciate how black and white it gets, so you don't need to focus on that, but rather the zoos itself.
Exactly.
I do think though, I mentioned this earlier, that this game has got large themes of conservation.
Yes,
animal conservation, nature conservation, animal welfare.
Right. Yeah.
I think those are big themes that this game is trying to push, and it's not even being subtle about it.
No. It's a full on like awareness campaign amongst the game itself, right? Which is a great thing. There were tons of animals I'd not even heard of that I knew were who were going extinct, like poisonous tree frogs and lizards and other things that just by my own ignorance. They were always on TV and they're plentiful, but no, they're slowly losing their habitat. There was a lot to learn from this game from playing it, which I think is a good thing.
If knowledge is something that you're seeking in this game, it provides it in bountiful, plenty amounts. You can dive into the Zoopedia and just learn all that you want.
There is so much there. No, agreed. There is so much there.
I do think that this game is proof that not every game needs a story, though.
Agreed.
Right? I think this Planet Zoo understands that players are here to build zoos and not, experience a dramatic story.
Yes,
I'm here to build a zoo. That's it. If I can build a zoo, I'm happy.
In my world, that's not quite enough.
I get it.
In my
I get it.
in my
I get
world, I need a beginning and an end. Just because I'm getting older and grumpier and all the other things. Back as a kid, I agree entirely. But many hours just making hospitals and theme hospital. Anything else narratively, or should we jump to the visuals?
Yes, visuals.
This is one of the things I'm pretty sure we both gave high regard to, right?
Oh yeah, because the visuals of this game is incredible.
If you're an animal person, the visuals in this game are just top notch.
Yeah.
It's madness.
If you're an animal person and a gamer, you need to play this if you haven't already.
Because, like I say, I know we're glazing a lot here, but I did some research into just how much research they did.
Yeah.
There are unique animations for every single animal, be it a bear, a zebra, a giraffe, different walking styles, different idling animations, hell, even species interactions. For example, if you put two, I don't know, like a crocodile with a lamb, and they don't match, they will kill. Like, it will be aggressive, or it will be, they'll note their passive insecure in regards to that habitat and stuff like that, which is all animated. Even the hunting and the feeding animations are all different per animal you feed, be it the elephants and the pandas. And again, one of the other things I just thought was quite funny, the feces animation on each animal is different. Somebody at Poor Frontier Developments was the turd guy. He was like, okay, so different animals poop,
geez.
So we need physics to it. So Jeff, you're our guy. Go to work, and they do.
Wow, Jeff was the poo person.
But can you imagine being that guy?
The poo person.
The poo person. I just can't imagine waking up each day and just going, which animal have I got today? Oh, a lemur.
A lemur.
What kind of turds does a lemur have? Okay. Is it like that?
Let's watch its shit.
Yeah, because I can't remember. There's some animal that does square shits. Sorry, I know, ladies and gentlemen, it's a weird conversation.
Yeah,
there's an animal that does square shits. It's not a wombat, is it? Or
it is a
like
wombat.
Is it a wombat?
I think so, yes.
I can just imagine going through all of it, then all of a sudden you're just animating a wombat. Like, oh wow, I get to do squares. Squares in the turd industry. It's unheard of.
Okay.
I think that's just such a cool, very strange thing to add to the game.
But that just goes to show you the attention to detail that's gone into just making this game look like a real zoo.
Oh, it really is. It really is. Everything about
every
it is
habitat, every object and decoration, every animal, it's all visually distinct, and you can kind of you can immediately see the detail in everything. If you zoom in, you can see blades of grass, hair follicles on the bison, just everything. And if you zoom out, not only do you see your entire zoo, but all the surrounding landscapes.
Yeah, like I said, your draw distance is pretty vast. You actually see which country you're in, right?
Yes,
in regards to where
you can clearly see that. It's got some excellent environmental detail, which I just think it wasn't necessary for them to do this, but it's extremely immersive.
It is crazy in depth. Like you said, it's when you run the park and you've got the visitors coming in and they're playing with their kids, or they're pointing at the animals are reacting to them pointing at them, or getting stressed out or being excited. And when a lion roars, the crowd moves backwards, because there is so much visually in the animation side of this thing, which it's funny that people don't talk about this more, because it's actually kind of momentous. It's a big thing.
I get it.
Immersive.
Just watching a zoo come alive from nothing it's consistently extremely satisfying.
But do you know which animal was the hardest for them to animate? It's quite funny. It's just it's one you wouldn't think would be a difficult one to animate.
Okay, peacock.
No, I can understand why. That sounds does sound like
okay.
A
No, it must have been the snake.
No, something more. Not so obvious.
Oh, really? Penguins.
It's like there are so many animals, we might be here for hours. No, it's the sloth. The sloth, because it's kind of like upside down, and its animations is so slow and stuff like that. It was actually irrespectively the hardest one to animate because he moves so slow.
I had no
and
idea.
You can't get the engine to do like a normal. I guess you can like animate in regards to just normal animation procedure. So I had to do it in hand, like bit by bit, because he moves so slowly and sleeps and poops differently. Whoa. I thought that was funny. The idea that the even like the cheetahs sprinting and the elephants elephanting.
Those were easier to animate compared to the sloth.
Yeah, no, it's a crazy thing. Anything else visually?
Yes, I actually have one big point that I'd like to raise.
Go on.
So we've spoken about the graphical fidelity of this game, what it looks like, attention to detail, that it looks... We've glazed the visuals, but there's one... I don't want to call it pain point. I don't want to call it bad. I also don't want to entirely call it good, but it is a point of conversation.
Go on.
And for something like a management sim, it's probably the most important visual element of the entire game. And that...
Wow, you got me on tenterhooks. Go on.
...is the user interface.
Yeah, it's kind of like the do or die in management sims.
Right,
accounts,
yeah.
Right?
This is how you interact with the game. This is how the game provides you the tools you need to do what you need to grow the zoo. And we're not talking about the gameplay of the user interface. I just want to talk about how it looks and works.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the impossible task of giving you just a massive amount of information presented clearly and in a way that it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, like spreadsheets, right?
Exactly.
That's a hard balance, yeah.
A game can easily just give you a Google sheet and tell you this is the game, right? Kind of reminds me of Stellaris a bit.
Yeah, because in the back end, that's exactly what it is. It is spreadsheets, but they've got to bring it forwards to something that's visually appealing or easy to understand. Exactly. And yeah, Stellaris was like that. That was a lot of management and spreadsheets.
That's definitely not an easy task. I cannot think that this is...
Agreed.
I can imagine a lot of resources being put into the user interface to make it just not just legible, but not make it feel like work.
Yeah.
I think this game organizes countless management tools reasonably well, but I do feel like some options and some buildings were buried beneath multiple menus, and they were sometimes difficult to locate. I don't know about you.
Agreed. Now, ladies, the tutorial on this game is pretty massive. That's how many menus and sub-menus.
How many hours did you spend on the tutorial? I think it took me about 3 or 4.
Yeah, I was got 3 hours, 3 or so hours. I was generally shocked I was still in the tutorial bits because I was like, I thought we'd slowly developed out into the game part now. No. But yeah, it was a really deep tutorial. But I do agree, and it's got to be so hard to do, like you say, to actually get that blend of this looks great and it works real well, but it isn't spreadsheety. But it's so in depth. It's hard. It's near impossible to actually do it perfectly. Like
it is.
It's so much there.
Some buildings, some of the facilities or guest buildings, I've struggled to locate. One small example I can kind of raise is it took me a very long time to find where I can change the quality of the food you give the animals.
Yes, yeah.
Eventually, you give them level 1 food, and then you can research level 2 food.
Yeah.
I researched the level 2 food. I could not find where is the setting to give them the level 2 food.
I'm so glad you said that. I did that for like 7 different things. I did not know where to find half of it. Like, again, it's one of those things...
Yeah,
do you think you need to have a vast knowledge in playing games like this to actually fully enjoy it? Like I wrote this in gameplay. Anyway, I won't jump the gun there. But I know inherently what you mean in regards to the user interface.
You know what? I think we can keep talking about this for a very long time. But let's move on to the audio. Okay.
Audio man, what did you think of the audio of this game?
I also gave the audio for this game a very, very, very large score because the audio is quite well done. Of the 3 audio pillars, the voice acting is probably the least.
Yeah, it is. I even looked at the voice actors who did it. They're not really. They were just voice actors. They're not like prolific in the gaming sphere.
I get it. I get it.
And it comes across.
I mean, during the tutorial, there's a lot of voice acting by what's her name, Sophie.
Yes, yes.
Sophie and Bernie Goodwin, they do a lot
it.
of voice acting, but they need to explain the game to you. After that, though, almost zero.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much, it's
almost zero. I played for 3 hours the other night, no voice acting.
Yeah, it just drops you in. It's management all the way.
Exactly. And I prefer it like that, true. If someone is yapping in my ear the entire time, how can I think about managing my zoo?
Yeah, but you say that Theme Park World used to have this little ant fella that was in the bottom right hand corner.
Yeah, you're right.
Doing it, and he was Scottish, and I loved him as a kid.
Oh, I remember him.
Oh, it was so great. Over there. I loved that little fella.
Each time you went to a different theme park, he would dress up for that theme park.
He would, and he'd just point out people who were vomiting. Like, did you see that? Someone just vomited over there.
Look at this poor bloke spilling his guts.
Yeah, it was great. But yeah, as a grown up, I do agree. Annoying narration just over.
Yeah.
For no
it's a
reason
good thing though. It's a good thing that the other two pillars of audio are so incredibly well done. One
and
being the music.
Yeah.
I think once you boot up this game, you can immediately hear that this game takes a lot of African influence with its soundtrack. And it's not this big bombastic soundtrack. It's almost like it's ambient zoo music.
Yeah, so no, I know.
That's the best way I can put it. When you step into a zoo, it's like the music that you'd hear on a speaker on the side, tucked away underneath a bush.
It's that cozy kind of feel again, right? Because it's a comforting thing when you go to a zoo and you feel zoo vibes from the music around you whilst you're looking around. This has that same type of feeling in the music that plays, and it changes in regards to where you are. I.e., if you're pandas and you're somewhere in China.
An eastern country.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, I agree. It's a very cozy kind of environmental vibe.
It is. I appreciate that the music doesn't try to take center stage, doesn't try to be overbearing, but it fits well.
Agreed.
One thing I did enjoy about the music is that during gameplay, for long stretches, you would just have no music at all.
Yeah.
I think
it's almost like...
Excuse me, yeah.
The CD ended, or it was changing. Can you remember?
Yeah.
You want to remember cassette tapes changing to side B?
But that's an intentional decision that was made by the game designers, and I think that's a good decision. If you could have like a 10-minute stretch with no music, just pure ambience, sound effects from the animals and visitors.
Oh yes, that was my favorite part. Yeah.
Right, you could just think. You could just cozy up, and if I can use this as a verb, you can just zoo.
Whoa! First time in history somebody used zoo as a verb.
Critical Arcade, you heard it here first.
Heard it first. That's exactly. You zooed. No, but I think everybody gets what you mean. And again, I think you were leading into the sound effects. Or
yes, I was.
I can't think of a...
No, you're right. The final pillar for audio, sound effects, voice acting, music. The third one, I'm going to kind of stretch the definition a bit. I'm going to include ambience. This game, a management game like this, and let's say including Stellaris as well, something like other management sims, I don't know, lives and dies off of ambience. If you're managing your sim and you can hear the hustle and bustle of the visitors enjoying your zoo. You can hear the gorillas in your left ear, the bisons in your right ear, and you can hear a crocodile snap every now and then. You hear
that's what it does.
Ka-ching of the register. You hear just kids running around. You hear all these different noises, and it all just kind of blends together into the big old ambience of being in a zoo.
Yeah. No, like I said, it's hard to describe into words by all accounts, because this is where it excels massively. Like, because you can make a mega zoo. So your zoo could have multiple animals and multiple species and stuff like that. And like you said, you can walk past or zoom past the buffalo and you'll hear the low murmuring grunts it's making. You can go to the cheetahs and get the weird little meow type noises they make. But it's all happening all at once. It's environmental. You've got the crickets cricketing, and you've got even like I was reading up about it. They went to actual zoos to record wildlife noises. They didn't just use stock recordings and stuff like that. And they went deep. They went into greeting calls, distress calls, just territorial noises that are like animals would do to one another. Even parent and offspring interactions.
Yeah, this is the be-all, end-all zoo really management game.
It is super in-depth where they went in regards just the animal part of this game is like incredibly in-depth and just very deep. There is so much there. It must have taken so much work.
It's such a vast soundscape.
Yes, exactly. It's got to be thousands upon thousands of sound effects that are just relaying all at once.
I do think, though, that for stuff like this, excuse me if I'm being a tad far-fetched, but I think that if the unfortunate event comes across that one of the animals that was close to extinction becomes extinct,
yes,
I think projects like Project Zoo is going to be a very important part of the conservation.
Yes, agreed.
Because there's this big database of sounds and pictures. And scans of this one very specific, very special, now extinct animal.
But you almost play this game and think like professors could even tell their students they should play it in their off time, right? Like Assassin's Creed for oh god, what was the one before Odyssey? I can't remember. Assassin's Creed. Odyssey.
Origins.
What's the Egyptian? That's it. The one where they made their landscape accurate to the time period, and professors were telling you to look around them because they were apt. This game does feel like if you were a vet, wanting to become a vet or a zookeeper or something, you could play this game and you could just get so much actual learning from it in regards to all the things in it. I absolutely, like I said, agree. It is so deep and expansive.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Anything else audio-wise?
Again, I think this is one of the most important parts for a game like this. And please, if I can just urge everyone to listen to the video games that you are playing.
Yes, agree. I even found out on this game, you can actually get the soundtrack on Spotify and like the animal noises and stuff to sleep to and stuff like that, which I thought was actually kind of cool as well.
It is. Okay. Next up. A big one.
This is where I actually scored quite a bit lower than you.
Really?
Because of something you mentioned at the beginning. Or no,
really?
In visual somewhere, sorry. No, the management thing is pretty intimidating. And kind of complex, right?
Okay, yes, intimidating and complex are words I would use to describe this.
And I play these games and I think to myself, I grew up with the Boom, so I played Theme Hospital and Theme Park and Startopia, sorry. So I played, so there's a lot of like muscle memory to finding things and tabs and the management and stuff like that. Same for you. You played Zoo Tycoon.
Gotcha,
there's a lot there. If you knew nothing about these types of games and their interfaces and how they played, how easy would you say this game is to play? Minus the building sim. The building sim is fairly simple. That's kind of fun. It's place it somewhere, right?
If I have no experience with management sims before this game,
yes,
it'd be near impossible.
That was my problem with the gameplay, because I thought the exact same thing. Like, you could have all the love for animals you wanted, and you could have all the love for like Sims-esque building of zoos, and that is what a lot of people do, by the way. A lot of people don't potentially even play the career mode; they just love building a mega zoo and having all the animals, which is great. But career, like the actual management of the zoos themselves, is kind of complex, and I don't know.
It is very complex.
I don't know if it would pull them through. Like I said, the tutorial was 3 hours-ish long. Now it's fun. it's not just like reading text bubbles and click this, grab this, go there. There is a lot of fun in those 3 hours. I wasn't super bored all the time, but I just don't think there's. But I stand here thinking, I don't know how else you do it. I cannot think of making something deep and complex, but also fun and interactive at the same time.
Well, I
go on.
I totally get what you mean. I don't think it's this game's fault.
No.
I think that within the genre of management sims, there are entry-level games and like deep into the weeds games.
Yes, I agree. I do.
So
I know what you mean. Yeah.
If you were to recommend an RPG for someone that's never played an RPG in their life, would you recommend Baldur's Gate 3?
No, you're absolutely right. It's far too complex and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that doesn't dissuade the argument that Baldur's Gate 3 isn't an excellent.
Oh, it's one of the best games ever made.
Generation defining.
That's very
RPG.
true. Yeah, agreed.
I think it's a complicated argument.
It really is, and I think because this game actually sold numbers, so did Jurassic Park Evolution, and so the management sims are doing numbers. So there must be either a lot of people like us, or there are a lot of people into the spreadsheet management, run your own thing system. I think there are a lot more of them out there than I actually think there is, because who's downloading these games then? Because they're still making management sims now. It's still a thing.
I don't think there are a lot on this scale.
No, agreed.
I think the scale is quite large, because there are other management sims, but they are much smaller.
But there is a Zoo Tycoon, Planet Zoo 2, isn't there? They made a sequel to this game, which is fundamentally bigger.
I was going to bring this up later in value for money, but you're right. Planet Zoo 2 is releasing in 3 months.
Oh, it's a wish list. I just saw it on Steam and presumed it was out already.
Planet Zoo 2 is releasing in 3 months, and somehow the list knew to give us this game 7 years after it released.
It keeps doing that. It's so weird.
It really
it gave us Crazy Taxi just before the release of the new, the adverts.
Yeah, just because they released that they're reviving the franchise.
That's what I mean. All hail the list.
All hail the list. It's alive.
It's kind of scary.
It really
is. But yeah, gameplay wise, I thought it was kind of complex. But I am a big lover of animals. I love everything. I like a David Attenborough special and stuff on TV. I always watch them. There's just too much interesting stuff that you find out about these things living on the planet. And like you said, a lot of the gameplay here just talks about endangered animals and conservation, and it does hit home. It makes you think, kind of sit there thinking like humans kind of suck. We need to do something about it because we need to help out these things. And I thought that a lot playing this game. I thought it's a good reminder.
And I think that is exactly why I raised this as being a core theme to the game, because you kind of buy animals, but you can only buy some of the animals with actual dollars. Some animals you adopt with conservation points, which you can only get by releasing animals into the wild.
Yes,
again,
doing the whole proper system,
Yeah, emphasizing the theme that this game's about animal welfare and conservation. Which that's the only way you can access certain parts of the game is by just being a good person.
Yes, exactly. Which is a crazy thing to be like a plus in games, but you're right. Like it's a strange thing, but that is. And this game does have those normal things that you're looking in gameplay. You do get little bars of achievement, be it stars, bronze, silver, and gold, and which then, like you said, opens a bit of the game up a bit.
I was gonna talk about that. So all of these things that you've mentioned, they're all part of the gameplay loop.
Yes.
So in most games, the gameplay loop is something that you can kind of unconsciously go through in, let's say, the span of sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes 3 seconds.
Yes, yeah. No,
I'd say the gameplay loop for Planet Zoo is much, much, much larger and slower.
Yes, agreed. It is definitely like you said, a cozy or at least a slow burn type of
game.
But
it's very complicated. The core loop of the gameplay loop in Planet Zoo can include building habitats, managing staff, maintaining guest happiness, to expand the zoo, which means you need to solve problems.
Yeah.
And you take that
true.
entire loop and then you repeat. That is not a quick thing to do in this game.
No, that's very true, very true. And it's a lot of critical thinking, which of course is lacking in society today, which I thought. On the other fun side of things, you can they got some wacky themes that you can build your zoos around, theme parks and ancient temples.
Yeah.
I did you know that this has got almost, not for money, but it's kind of got like a Counter-Strike marketplace thing to it?
Did you know that? I saw that.
It's not bad, ladies and gents. It's just that when you play the game, it very much reminded me of Pokemon and Shinies. When you breed animals, you can get albino versions, or leucistic, which I'm not entirely sure what that means, and melanistic, as it's in there, lacking melanin, I think is the which people want in their zoos so that they can have like a rare rhino or a rare frog or something.
So they
like
can
that.
have a shiny.
So they can have a shiny, so you can put it on like a market, not kind of like a trading place where you can trade your shiny animals in regards to their defective.
That's one of the modes. The career mode, the sandbox mode with infinite money, that's boring. And the franchise mode where you can trade with players. That's
kind of cool. I thought that was kind of a fun little idea. And I love the idea, like somebody getting excited that they got like a purple marmoset or something like that. Like,
but isn't that just it's unique? How unique is that? How many other games can do this?
But it also just like locks home is that in the real world we have shinies. Right? Like actual animals being albino and stuff like that. It's kind of, we got it outside our door, right? It's
like a cat with different colored pupils. What do you call that?
Yeah, the cool eye, the monochromatic type eye thing, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. Shinies.
So yeah, I'm gonna go start just catching animals and selling them. No, it's kind of a cool. I thought it was kind of a cool. It
is. And all of these modes, all of these different things you can do, it all just reinforces the fact that this game is, again, trying to push through its gameplay. Building a zoo from scratch is extremely rewarding.
It is fun. This game, again, it is a fun thing to do. Again, my back of my head said it, but is it fun enough or not? Yeah, it is fun.
Okay,
fun. I enjoyed it.
Air quotes, fun air quotes.
Yeah, exactly.
Fun watching, watching Breaking Bad is fun.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'd say. You cannot compare anything more perfect than zoo management and crack manufacturing and selling in a gangster world. Exactly right. Perfect comparison. Anything else gameplay wise?
There's actually so much. I just want to raise a couple more things. The camera controls were excellent. I could do and go anywhere in the flick of a wrist by just using my mouse. Excellent. This game is, here we go, it's missing one of the biggest features that I sorely missed.
Is it going to be releasing the animals onto people?
No.
Because that's what people complain about this game. You can't release a lion into the park space.
No, you can't. But sorry, go on. You can kind of. I had a bear release on the park.
Damn, that sounds like mismanagement. What's wrong with you, Nick? Jeez.
Excuse me. Okay, the big missing feature that I was really, really expecting to be in this game is a feature, get this, that was in Zoo Tycoon 2.
They missed something. What is it?
Yeah, they missed something.
I'm curious now.
They missed something that made Zoo Tycoon 2 doubly fun, in my opinion. And that is Zookeeper mode.
Oh, is that like a first-person perspective type thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
you can click Zookeeper mode, and then you would jump into a first-person body of one of your zookeepers, and then you can just walk around, brush the animals, refill their bowls, pick up their dung. You can do all of that in Zoo Tycoon 2, which is more than 20 years old.
I'm actually generally, granted it didn't dawn to me because I've not played Zoo Tycoon, but yeah, that's crazy it doesn't actually have that, because that would be perfect for
right?
That is kind of crazy. That is crazy.
I was Googling because I thought, wait a minute, how can Zoo Tycoon 2 have this that released in 2005 and Planet Zoo doesn't?
Yeah, that is crazy. Unless it was like the big timeline and Planet Zoo 2 was going to have this
Aha,
issue,
that's the thing. Because I think if Planet Zoo 2 wants to have a new killer feature, it has to be that.
No, I agree.
Bring back first-person zoo exploration.
Because they even had that. They had that in friggin' Theme Park.
They had that in Theme Park World.
Yeah, you could go on the roller coasters and stuff like that,
right?
couldn't you?
Yes.
In a first-person perspective.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. That's crazy. I didn't even notice, but you're absolutely right. It's kind of criminal. That's not.
If they want Planet Zoo 2 to be, if they want a new killer feature, it's to let players experience the zoo they've spent hours creating as a visitor.
That's true. That is crazy. Anything else gameplay-wise?
Oh, no, I'm done.
I'm done. Okay, performance.
Performance.
What did you think?
So this one I scored a bit lower.
Okay.
I'm not going to score this high because this ran just like a hot knife through butter. But with this game being what it is, just a management sim, and the absolute scope of what you're doing, what you've got on your screen, and the stuff happening at the same time on your screen, it's not that far-fetched that CPU bottlenecking was a common complaint.
Yeah, I can see that.
Upon release, loads of people were complaining about performance issues, especially pre-release during the beta phase. But then Frontier Developments kind of took it upon themselves to optimize the living hell out of this game. They had to. This game being what it is, if they didn't optimize it, it was going to be lagging.
Yeah, and then that would have killed it.
Much.
It's just like the SimCity thing where their servers all broke down, and if you don't fix it, you just ruin your franchise almost entirely.
Exactly. I don't know how the servers was for this game. I know it takes a big old chunk from your CPU, and they optimized it, but it was part of the engine, and I hope that they fixed that core issue with. So it's still there in Planet Zoo. It's still just taking a big. It's hoarding your CPU, and I hope that they don't repeat that mistake with Planet Zoo 2.
They must have fixed that. They must have. If it's a known issue and a big complaint last time, it would be madness if they didn't try to optimize it the second time.
Right?
For their diehard fans, yeah, that would be crazy. Performance-wise, I know exactly what you mean because it does crunch your system. It even feels crunchy a little bit whilst playing. If you're zooming from one side to the other, and of course it's kind of loading a lot all the same time. Sound effects, data,
yes.
You've got a good 1,000 things going on at a time. But you're right.
It's inevitable with these kinds of games.
It is, and they just haven't perfected how to utilize everything at the same time efficiently. Hopefully that happens in the second one. Anything else, or should we go for value for money?
I think the value for money is something that this game trumps my usual argument.
Yeah, go on.
I kind of say that I prefer quality over quantity. If a game doesn't give me quality and it gives me quantity, I'm not that interested.
Mm-hmm.
This game gives me a big fat bird and tells me, how about both?
Agreed. I wrote fundamentally the same thing without the analogy to some degree.
It gives me quality time and it gives me quantity. I can get dozens of hours out of this game.
Loads. I wrote like even I think I didn't get around to finishing the career mode because it's freaking huge.
Yeah.
If it's 3 to 5 hours per campaign,
massive,
and there were like 12 to 13. I don't know if there was more. I didn't scroll down. There were so many campaigns. This is This is a time sink of a game. And you're right, in regards to value, it's fundamentally $20 on Steam, which I thought, okay. This blew me away. It's on the consoles, the PlayStation and the Xbox. I don't even know
how you do this.
You would play this game on a controller.
I don't think that's a good idea at all.
And for some reason, it's $40 on the PlayStation and Xbox. So not only is it harder to play, it's twice the price.
No.
So that doesn't make much sense to me.
Play this on a PC, please, for the love of
for the love of God.
Just play this on a PC.
Yeah, I could not imagine playing this on a controller. But it's for $20. Again, it is worth it. There's a lot there for $20. The new game's coming out soon. Maybe they'll be bundled up at some point. It is part of your PlayStation subscription if you do want to go down the torturous routes of playing this game on a console with a controller.
Okay, if you want to check it out, and your only means of doing that without spending money is on PlayStation Plus or whatever, maybe Game Pass.
Yeah, tell us how it is, because I don't think you and I are ever going to touch it, because our brains just cannot. We're not perfected the ability to use a controller in that level.
No, but
yeah,
if this is something you're playing on PC, you bought it on Steam or whatever, and Zoo management appeals to you, this game delivers exceptional value.
Oh, agreed. Even if you just like David Attenborough, like documentaries and stuff like that, you'll get so much of that kick out of this too. There's so much in there. If you like Sims, building houses, just build zoos. People do that. Spend hours upon hours just building these mega zoos that you can share and show off and stuff like that to your friends. I think there is a lot there. After all that, what did we score this though?
Our scores for Planet Zoo were kind of all just having a lazy Sunday in the middle of their habitat. Grazing, feeding, playing with just, I don't know, a plastic ball.
Nice. Yeah.
Until one day, a new baby was born of our scores. Score Baby. Score Baby was happy. Score Baby grew up in this habitat. Score Baby learned how to feed himself. Score Baby learned how to hunt. Until one day, zoo gods took Score Baby and deemed it fit to be released into the wild. Which they did. Score Baby now thrives in the African savannah. And somehow turned into the retrograde rating of B-.
That's where I thought where this was going. Like, it thrives. Did great. It's a B-. Everyone's just thinking, well, didn't thrive that much then, by all accounts, right? It's alive. But yeah, it is a B-. Granted, it's the performance issues on release. It's the... For my money, the gameplay kind of like tutorial, the getting into it seems to be kind of steep from my side.
Oh, it's absolutely steep. This is definitely not an entry level management.
No, exactly. That's why B-. It didn't quite snag that A or B plus.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
But if you like these.
On my end, I think it's the performance stuff, which they should be fixing in Planet Zoo.
Again,
2.
like it makes it genuinely exciting for Planet Zoo 2, right? It makes it genuinely exciting.
Frontier Developments, they understand this niche, and they are serving this audience extremely well.
Yes, and that's what 30 years of experience does for you. So yeah, B-. I say play it. Give it a go.
Yeah, totally.
There's definitely something in there for everyone. Just try and get past that UI, the spreadsheety type of side of things, because it is fun. You will get stuck into it and just lose yourself.
Excuse me. Yeah, you're right.
No, go on.
Once you click the gameplay loop and understand what's going on, yes, this is the thoughtful, relaxing management game, and it rewards patience and creativity.
Yes, very, very, very true.
It doesn't try to reinvent zoo management. It just it perfects what makes it enjoyable in the first place.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Like I said, pick it up, give it a go. I think everybody, if you play lots of first-person shooters, a little slowdown and different type of gameplay for a little break between them, I always enjoyed.
Yeah,
right. It really is.
Everything
like
doesn't need to be adrenaline shooty all the time.
Yeah, so give it a go. Like B-, good score.
Yeah, good score. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Critical Arcade Podcast. If you'd be so kind to leave us a review or comment or share to that friend that you've always kind of been meaning to hang out with, but you always say, oh yeah, we should hang out, and then you just don't. You should do a bit more effort with that friend. They might be getting a bit lonely.
Podcast. Yeah,
share this podcast.
Exactly.
Do that.
That's the first step. I like it. I like the narrative of that one.
And subscribe.
Yeah, exactly.
Do all of that. Dave, where can we follow you?
Well, you can find me out and about, and you'd figure for a game this charming and about wildlife preservation and all the good things that comes from it, it's fairly difficult to find a really dark reason not to follow me.
Yeah.
But on the dark side of zoo management, there is feces clearing.
Oh, I was
so
good. I thought you were going to say euthanasia.
Wow, that would be dark. You're right. That is darker. No, let's go with the.
No,
you will
back
have
to
to
feces.
clean the snake enclosures. Now, if anybody owns a snake, they'll know how horrendous this is because, believe it or not, snakes crap is insane. It's horrendous stuff. And so, long story short, you will just have to clean out the crap of every single animal there is. Every single one, every single day, with no promotion, no shower, practically no food. There you go. That's the basis of today's one.
Just
I don't
slavery.
want to go too dark. Yeah, that's fundamental. A lot of them are the ones I end on are fundamentally slavery to some regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't
You're
follow
so
me.
right. You're absolutely right. Don't follow Dave.
Don't follow Dave.
Don't do it, Dave. How would you tell us what have we got lined up for next week?
Well, next week, this is a game I was alive to play. One of the first games I probably have ever played on floppy disk or stiffy disk, depending on which part of the world you're from. It's 1995's Descent. For the few people out there who know what I'm talking about, is a space-faring game about exploring inside of little labyrinthian asteroids and then getting out quickly. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing the 3 megabyte size Descent from 1995. I look forward to your view on it, Nick. Because
I've only seen screenshots.
Oh yes, and they are glorious, those screenshots.
Oh yeah.
I look forward to it. I haven't played Descent in 30 years. It's about time I went back to it.
Yeah, it is. And you can join us for that discussion next week. We'll see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.